Hello and welcome to something a little bit different and a little bit hopefully interesting. Might not be interesting of course. Oh, headshot. Oh, did you fall for it? Did you think this was live for a second? It's not. It's a pre-recorded piece of gameplay and I'm commentating. Yes, commentating. Commentating. What are you tating? I'm commentating. Yes, and what was that? I don't know. What were some of those shots to the left of his ear roll? I do not know. So this, let's get back to the gameplay. This is Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I figured, seeing as that character, this is 3 humans, including me, and 1 AI. I figured, seeing as that 1 human player had sort of dashed beyond fathomability to get that healing spray, I'd just go, here, all right, have it, fucking hell.
Spec Ops on us.
Shit, we got fucking Spec Ops. They don't shy away from foul language. So Spec Ops are bloody awkward, and oh, I remember this bit, this is a marvellous bit. Watch and learn the value of teammates in this game, for soon enough we will work out their immensely wonderful value. Stubborn motherfuckers. Look at the dive! I spent a lot of time trying to work out how the fuck you did that sort of dive. And you can, as a player, you can do that dive. Apparently I don't understand the definition of health bars because it disappeared far quicker than I thought. But there we go. You are dead. And now wait for it. The amount of people they come charging to my rescue. I mean, just everybody has seen your teammate has died. Look, Lupo. Nah, maybe not. I don't think I'll bother, actually. In fairness, that's the AI, and the AI I've found in this game doesn't seem to do diddly shit. Which, it seems a bit annoying. I did do one game. One of the games I did, it was me and 3 AI characters. 3 AI characters, and I didn't realise at first, I didn't spot that they were in fact AI characters, which is stupid in its own right, but not as stupid as the AI. What? AI, the monkey. How you doing, baby? Anyway, the AI is really stupid. Because basically they just charged off, went, shoot me, or eat me, as it is zombie based. But other than that, did fuck all of any use. Because they didn't revive people, they didn't heal people, they didn't anti-infection, I suppose. It's not a disease as such, it's an infection. Resident Evil. Infection. It's an infectious game to play though, because even though it's got a load of fuck-ups and oddities and weird bits and annoyances, it's actually a really rather fun game. It's very enjoyable. Ah yes, the mini SMG. I liked the mini SMG, but I think, I quite liked it because it was silenced, but I felt the assault rifle was the superior option. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I was playing as the character Vector, which, as you can see, he has a fancy looking sort of hexagon armour hood. But I say armoured hood, it's not technically an armour, I don't think. Probably, I don't know, perhaps it's a Kevlar bulletproof weave formed over his head as a hood. I think he's technically classified as the scout type one. Because I think, and unfortunately I'm too early a level in this game, and in fairness in any other game I play, because I haven't changed my level, just by the end of this, that's the level I was. And I'm testing the covering system, it seems. I've seen loads of people, well, I say loads of people, a few people I've seen on some of the forums for this have complained about the cover system, and I don't quite grasp why they've complained about the cover system. And the other thing people on the PC seem to complain and criticise about Because I mean, this is on the PC, but I use the controller anyway, as is so often my way. I always use a controller. Every time I get a game, I always use a controller, if I can use the controller, of course. But as a controller user, I can make the characters walk. Now, I don't see necessarily there being much point in making the characters walk, but there seems to be a big-ish thing about, you know, oh, you can't bind a walking key to the keyboard, and I want to walk. Why do you? It begs the question: why do you want to walk? And it's sort of one of those complaints where it's like, really, you're complaining about that, and not everything else. We got a lovely cutscene here of the nasty bugger who shoots a man in the leg and then locks his team outside. Actually, in fairness, I don't know if they're his team. They may just be random soldiers that he locked outside. But they're going to get eaten to death, as opposed to an eaten mess, which is far more delicious than being eaten alive by zombies. Let's. I'll try and discuss the other members of the team. I think Lupo, who is the AI character, is playing the medic, who I just shot in the back. But don't worry, Lupo. I may have shot you in the back of the head, but I revived you immediately. That's the sort of player I am. I will shoot you, but then I'll revive you afterwards as well. So yeah, I think she's the medic-ish character. The other human, Tobias Pabst, or whatever it is, I think that's what it says. I haven't seen a clear shot of it yet. Is, again, I think that's the medic. So Lupo might not be a medic, because I'm fairly confident Tobias is playing as the medic woman. And then there's also the demolitionist, played by Riddler there, it would seem. He's kind of cool. Shotgun, heavy armour. Although I don't know how much I don't know how the armour, if it's a sort of straight up, you've got a health bar, that's your health bar, or whether the armour does affect it. Because, of course, the demolition guy has pretty hefty armour, so he, in theory, should have more health, but I don't know if it works like that. I haven't looked into it carefully enough. But he can plant bombs and stuff, as you'd expect from a demolitionist, really. Oh! Attract zombies to soldiers with non-lethal wounds. Yes, I think we did a couple of times at some point. I don't know, it might not be this game, it might not be this section, it might be something else entirely, but we did manage to do that. Because it's really quite clear. I'll give a bit of more detail as to the game's detail and stuff. So I'm almost potentially going to turn it into a review or something, but I don't know. At the moment it's just me randomly talking, which, I don't know, entertaining or not, I'm not sure. Oh, is this where I start trying to find the dive? You'll see, I just suddenly start diving into random places. I think Riddler does the dive at some point. I think someone else does the dive, and I suddenly go, oh my god, I have to do this dive. And so I overused the dive down into cover thing, which is a bit daft. Ah yes, I went for heavy assault machine gun, which I quite like that sort of one. I do rather enjoy it. I'm really piss poor accuracy, but I will just everywhere but the zombie's face I'll hit, but I still enjoy just just charging bullets after bullet after bullet in there. Anyway, I was going to discuss a little bit of the gameplay. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's obviously, as you can see, it's a third-person shooter. There is a cover system, but it wouldn't be, say, like Uncharted, I don't think. It's not really that sort of cover system. I mean, I know I mentioned earlier people have complained about the cover system being awkward, and I didn't find it that awkward. I mean, it's a bit shit, but I didn't exactly find it awkward, and you can take cover quite happily. There's not really an issue with being... Basically, the cover system in this is push your body so hard against a item of... There we go! I finally worked out how to do the dive. But you basically just push against whatever obstacle is in front of you, rather than leap into a door. But anyway, yeah, I must have got shot because my character. Check your fire, bitch. I don't want to get shot in the face by some punk bitch. Woo! It's not the world's greatest dive because you can't exactly do it in a direction. Now, this is almost displaying the cover system. A, I threw the grenade the wrong side, like the dumb shit the character appears to be. And B, you saw I couldn't actually fire my gun around the edge of the cover. So, I'm beginning to understand why people might not like the cover system in this game, because it's bloody awkward. And as soon as I don't think there's any sort of sticking to the cover. It's as soon as you go anywhere away from that cover, you give the cover up. And unlike something, again, I'll go back to Uncharted because it's the most obvious cover-based one I can think of immediately. Gears of War probably another obvious option, and there's probably plenty of others, but they're the only ones I can think of immediately. Where you would be able to sort of go, I want to attach myself to that cover. And that would attach you, so you'd literally be attached to that cover. And until you said no, I want away, you'd end up being able to sort of slide to the side, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, however much you like. But in this one, as soon as you leave the perimeter of the cover, I think you do sort of go, right, no, you've left the cover. That's it. I'm sorry. Which I don't know. It's a way of doing a cover system, but it's not the most efficient, I don't think. But then again, I don't know. I didn't use that much cover. I think cover is only useful if enemies are shooting you. And in this one, I don't know about every other level, but certainly in this level, and every level I've played has a majority of zombies being the enemies. Which makes sense, it's Resident Evil. It seems fairly logical that zombies would be the primary foe. It's when Spec Ops get involved, that's when it starts getting a bit more awkward, because they shoot back, which I don't like. I don't like them shooting back. There's me sort of, I'm showing off, because I'd read that forum thing about people disliking the inability to walk. Every opportunity I get, I just sort of show off. Look at me. I'm walking. I'm real good. Look at me. I'm walking like a cool dude. It was pathetic, wasn't it? But just in case other people were not using a controller and they were going, how do you walk? How do you walk? You shouldn't be able to walk. No. I can though. I'm a walking here. I'm a walking there. So I've switched over to the shotgun at some point. I sort of missed that. Eventually we'll probably see a bit more about some of the different health-based features of the game. Because I'll go on to some more of them. I was going to earlier, but anyway, we'll focus. As you can see, oh, that's convenient. You are infected, and basically that means your health drains fairly swiftly, actually, astoundingly swiftly. And once your health has drained, I think you can sort of prolong it by healing, or as you saw, I happen to have an antiviral spray, allowing me to immediately go, I'm infected. No, I'm not. Just spray myself down with a little bit of Lynx, the old deodorant. I think Axe, isn't it, in America? I think Lick. Well, if you combine the two, you get Licks. And I'm sure everybody enjoys spraying Licks all over themselves in the morning. That's despicably creepy. I'm gonna lick myself in the morning. Are you really a filthy bugger? No, I was going to say Lynx and Axe, I think are the same thing, just American England based difference. Oh, look at me with my knife, my big bowie knife. I think it's I don't know what sort of knife it is. It's my knife, it's not Bowie's, it's mine. This isn't just any knife, it's an M&S knife. So I'm not doing bad. I've got the assault rifle back, it would seem. I think of all the ones, the assault rifle, it's fairly standard, you know, it's your reliable, dependable, good range, good damage, good speed. It's your middle ground, and I quite like the middle ground. Although I am partial to the submachine gun, and I think later on, possibly, I do have a second game I will probably commentate. But later on, I think I do have a go with the sniper rifle, and you'll probably understand why I prefer submachine guns. It was that damn bad. It really was. But yeah, I think this is where we get lost, or I get lost certainly. But I think for the most part, me and Riddler were together throughout that sort of wandering around aimlessly, getting lost, and then suddenly I lose him, and we both have to try and sort of get back to where we were, and sort of, I'm sorry, Tobias, we were going to help you, but we sort of went the wrong way. But back to the infection sort of status ailment, you could call it. As soon as you hit 0 health, I think, and this only ever happened once, I believe, to me, as I've seen it so far, you become an infected zombie. Which basically means you lose all control. You don't have your controller active anymore. And you start attacking your teammates, of course. And it's most inconvenient. Because this was back when I was sort of like... the problem was, it was me and free AI, but I didn't realise it was free AI characters. So I was just thinking, why aren't you doing anything? Oh my god, I'm with a bunch of bricks. And it was the first time I'd ever played the game, which didn't help matters at all, really, because it was like, oh my god, I have never played this game before, and I'm doing everything. Why am I doing everything here? Curses, you stupid people! But then, of course, I subsequently realised, oh right, I understand. These are AI, thus incompetent. Although it would have been nice. I'm hoping at some point they'll perhaps upgrade not necessarily the enemy AI, although, I don't know, that guy's just run off aimlessly, but mindless zombies don't need a huge amount of AI, I wouldn't have thought, but certainly your teammates could do with some AI improvement, I think. Just based on the simple fact that they tend to... Certainly they have a fetish for wandering into flames. I've seen that discussed on the forums, I think. So what other gameplay features are there? I suppose you've seen the green sprays. Sort of fairly classic in the old... Oh, I'm dead. Fairly classic in the old Resident Evil. You've got your healing sprays available. I wondered what he said. Buck up. You're all good now. I am. You just grabbed my hand and raised me up, and you raised me up so I can shoot the zombies. Blasted phone is ringing, and it's annoyingly distracting when a phone is ringing and you don't really want to answer it because you're in the middle of something, but stop fucking ringing. Anyway, you've got special skills as well. That's another part of the gameplay. You have these little quests and stuff. It's quite nice. I haven't experienced the entirety of the storyline because I've just dipped in and out of random levels, because I think there is perhaps a more substantial story. Although then again, I think to a certain extent it is designed to be almost dipped in and out of. Trip man, don't mind me. Ooh, that would have been painful if I'd missed it. What grenades? There's incendiary, stun, or concussion, one of the two. I don't know which they're called. And of course you've got your classic frag grenade. I've discussed the idea that there's the infection, which is... It makes it a different sort of thing, you know. Oh, there's also wounded, of course. I'm not sure there's exact parameters to get wounded. It may be either very... Although, no, because I had very, very low health a few minutes ago, didn't I? And yet I wasn't bleeding. So it must be something based on what attacks you, who attacks you, in what sort of way. But at points you can get hit with this bleeding status ailment, I suppose, is as good a phrase as any. And that really almost sort of screws you, because I suppose the idea is fresh blood. Fresh blood. Zombies like flesh. Gonna eat you, boy. Shit. I don't know. Perhaps he's bleeding. Perhaps he's infected. But he's definitely got evil eyes, hasn't he? Look at that. Very dark and just as you. Beltway is quite the nasty bugger. Lickers! They want to lick your nuts because your nuts are covered in salt, because they're salted peanuts. This bit sort of confused me because I think I just stood in the middle of nowhere and I just constantly got licked. The tongues just came out, wrapped around me, and basically I spent about 5 minutes just waggling my joystick because I was getting licked. Oh, that's a quote to take away. I spent 5 minutes waggling my joystick because my foes were licking me. Especially since I said they were licking me nuts earlier. Hey baby, lick my nuts and I'll waggle my joystick. Oh, this has gone downhill fast. I was discussing sensible parts of gameplay and generally bits and pieces of the game, and just suddenly it degraded into licking my nuts and waggling my joystick. But yes, you do have to waggle your left stick, as opposed to waggling both sticks, I suppose. Have you got 2 sticks? But yes, we're stuck in a burning building, and basically I go, teammates, cheerio, and I get the fuck out of there. Of course, I think I regret the decision, owing to the simple fact that I start getting mauled by zombies quite thoroughly, and it's quite disturbing how swift your ammo can drift down from 4 to 0 whilst shooting the zombies. So I'm suddenly, it's like, oh my god, I'm down to a sidearm! I'm down to a pea shooter! The laser sight on that thing is another thing that seems to bug me slightly. I don't know if it might be something to do with aim assisting, perhaps. It's trying to aim assist and that's why the laser beam sort of fucks off, but I don't know. The laser doesn't necessarily seem to line up perfectly with the cursor's sight, and I don't know. Do you wait for the laser to be on the zombie, or do you just go with your cursors on the zombie? I'm not sure which is the superior option, but still, not hugely important at this stage either. We're heading, I think, towards the end of this match. We've got about 2 minutes, I believe, and I don't know, I'm pretty much out of things. I suppose I mentioned it's got its fair share of problems. Now these 2 games, this is the problem. This is why I didn't end up doing a live-based thing, because I was just sort of going, right, I'll have a go, because I reorganised a little bit of recording stuff so that it does it subtly differently, and so I wanted to test it, and I was tempted to do a live version, but every other time I've tried to do a live version, all of the problems seem to have come in at once. There seems to be an issue with, I don't know if this is lag based or just generally fuck up based, but there was one issue I came across where nothing moved. None of the enemies moved, so there was like a row of special ops blokes just sort of, I think the issue is something to do with their spawn based. So they spawn somewhere, but the problem is they stay there and don't do anything. And it was weird because I think the other players weren't getting that issue. So you could see them diving for cover, covering, flipping up, boom, 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 boom. And there's me, I just wandered through the battle scene going, what are you shooting at? I am surrounded by morons. And then all the enemies were stuck in their spawning area, and there's me. Right, this is interesting. Everybody else is battling their hearts out, and me, I'm just going pop, pop, pop in the head because you're not moving. So that was a weird error. And there's been a couple of other weird oddities, errors, but we have officially come to the end of corruption. Join me again next time. Thanks for watching.